Hey everybody, welcome to Round the Twist, episode 270. It is not 75, it is 274. Yes. Wow, I can't even number my own show notes. It is episode 274. It's November 30th, 2016. Everyone in the US, I hope you had a happy Thanksgiving and ate way too many calories and carbs and all that fun jazz. Our Thanksgiving was a little bit delayed. The nature of healthcare is that my hubby and I, part of why I didn't record last week was because my schedule got switched thanks to the holiday. Thank you, working in a hospital. So I not only, instead of working Thursday, Friday of last week, I worked Tuesday, Wednesday, but then because my husband and I are on opposite holiday schedules, he then worked Thursday, Friday. So delayed our family Thanksgiving until, I forget whether I did it Sunday night or Monday night. I think I did it Monday night. Just because it was a day we were both off and we were both here and able to, he could corral the kids while I did the cooking, and yeah, we made it through. I did go over to one of my cousin's houses for, sorry, I forgot to set my phone, for actual Thanksgiving, and so I got to hang out with them. So that was kind of nice while hubby slept so he could work. So things have been crazy. We're back to recording on Wednesday. Hi, how you doing? It's a knitting show, right? Right. So let's get into what's on my needles. First thing first, I have the hashtag for Megan knit along that's in my large Stitch by Jessalou cupcake bag. And she just put up a whole bunch of Christmas ones. So if you're looking for a Christmas themed project bag, I'd head over to her website, which I believe is stitchedbyjessalou.com. I could be wrong with that, but so what I'm working on for this project is the hashtag for Megan knit along has to do with the fact that Megan, the owner, dyer of the Cyborg's Craft Room, passed away very suddenly this summer. So, I'm drawing a blank on her name. The owner of Birdleg Bags. I decided to do a very informal knit along, craft along, where you use yarn from the Cyborg's Craft Room. So I pulled out what I thought was my lone skein, but it actually is not. The first skein that came to my hand. It is the Cyborg's Craft Room, her Asocolate base, which is a 75-25 superwash merino and nylon blend. And the colorway is Ain't No Party Like a Cyborg Party, which reminds me of Funfetti. It's not nearly that blue. I don't know why. You guys all said it doesn't look blue on the screen. Well, to me, on the little screen, it looks blue, so I'll stop saying it looks blue. It very much reminds me of Funfetti cake, and even more in the knitted up version. So I'm knitting the Trillion by Martina Baim. I did go up a needle size to a US 3, a 3.25 millimeter needle. It's got this lovely edging, you see? This very straight, very boxy edging on it, which I love. It's a wonderful mindless knit, so when I'm watching hubby play video games, I can pull this out and still help him with that. And I knit maybe just under an inch. So my little dangly thing is. About there. Yeah. So we'll move my little progress marker up. I would love to find more progress markers like these. It's not the lobster claw clasp. It's actually like a French hook earring that the back flips open. And I can't even remember where I got this little. So I'm going to hold it by the bottom so you can see this. It's so difficult to show. And then this back part flips open. And normally this part would be like the part you'd put through the hole in your ear if you were wearing it as an earring. And then that would be the closure on the back. So if anyone knows anyone that makes progress markers like this, I would love them. I don't feel like it's not heavy, so it doesn't pull. And I wish I could remember where I got this. If someone made it for me, I don't even know. It's frustrating. Anyway, yeah, move my marker up. So I've done a few more rows, maybe like 6 or 8. It's coming along. Obviously, I still have quite a bit of the ball left. This is going to be pretty much a long-term project because it's mindless. It gets thrown around, brought down here, left down here, forgotten about. Yeah. But first thing. The second thing that I have, let's grab some coffee because I still need to place a San Marco order. I've been drinking the same coffee. I actually went to Target and got some of their Archer Farms, I think it's peppermint, when my friend Sarah was out visiting, and I've been drinking nothing but that, and it's getting a little boring, so we'll see how soon. Second thing on the needles, this has a lot of progress on it. This I am so happy with, which makes me beyond excited. My Disappointing Stripes sweater, which is for Tara. I'm knitting so the whole saga of this sweater is the gray yarns dye was not set, and so I had to set that, and I set the multicolored dye as well. As long as I was doing it, might as well do it all, go whole hog, right? So the yarn, the sweater itself is the Playful Stripes cardigan by Alana Dakos. The yarn is Lisa Souza's. It's her Biffle, her Blue-Faced Leicester worsted, which is 100% superwash blue. No, I don't even think it is superwash. Now that I look at it, it's 100% wool, Blue-Faced Leicester. Okay. Oh, why did I think this was superwash? Oh no. So, number one, the pattern calls for sport weight. I bought worsted weight. Disappointed in myself. The dye ran. Not while I was knitting it, not while I was touching it, but when I washed my swatch. And not into the water. It was actually when I was squishing the swatch out. It left well, I showed you guys, it left a big gray square on this off-white towel that I used. So I was really disappointed in that. I ended up setting the dye myself, both on the Gray Blade and Joseph's Coat. So the main color I used is Gray Blade, which is this, I mean, it's a beautiful gray. It's a lovely, cooler toned gray, I'd say. And then the Joseph's Coat has all this red, orange, blue, green, a little hint of purple. It's gorgeous. I'd even use this on a boy's sweater. I'm kind of disappointed I didn't pick one of her pinkier ones, but for some reason I picked this one. So because of the whole getting worsted weight and not sport weight, I had to rework the pattern, do math. I am actually knitting a 9-month size on a US 7, which is larger than the pattern calls for. I had to do math, and I hate math. I hate it. So I'm using a US 6, 4.0 millimeter, and a US 7, 4.5 millimeter, and doing the 9-month size stitches, so circumference, but the 6-year length, and even adding length to that. So I think the last time I had finished one sleeve and I was like 11.5 inches out of 13 into the second sleeve. Now here we are. I have a sweater. It actually resembles a sweater. So here's the whole little thing. Obviously I finished the second sleeve. I attached the sleeves. I have knit the entire yoke, except I need to do 4 more rows of the gray at the top and then do the bind off at the neck, which I don't know why it's having me do stockinette and then bind off, but I almost want to do ribbing instead, but I'm going to follow the pattern and not go crazy with this. And then I have a lot of finishing to do. I have to, you can't even see this on here. Let me see if I can angle the camera down just a touch for this. Yeah, that helps a little. So on the bottom, the edge is all rolled up because it's stockinette, so it's gonna roll. And this isn't working at all, but so all those little holes at the bottom, see them? Kind of see them? See them? That is my turning row. So I will actually take and flip that up so it will make a picot edge. It's also on the bottom of on the cuffs of the sleeves, so it'll be a really cute little picot edge. I have to sew those down. I have to sew the underarms. Actually, I think I have to seam up the sleeves because I knit those flat. I didn't do this smart at all, but I followed the pattern. So the sleeves are knit flat. Then you have to seam the underarm, and then you have to pick up both fronts and knit the button band. So I have a lot of finishing to do, but it looks like a sweater. It actually looks like a sweater. So, yay. It's coming along. It might take me till the new year to get all that done, but it's coming along. Third thing. Okay, we'll tilt back up here a little bit. There we go. So the top of my head's not cut off. Let's grab more coffee because Lord knows we need the caffeination, especially today. I'm fighting a headache, you guys, if I seem a little off. Third thing is in my small Jessalou cupcake bag. So if you're debating between Jessalou's box bags, here's the difference. Side by side, this is the large, this is the small. And I have some leftover embroidery floss somehow. Okay, got stuck there. Oh, so in here resides, as Tara says, my pink socks. This is the Genevieve's Tube Socks pattern from Cute Knitter and Gigi Darling, Jasmine and Gigi, and it has dog hair all over it. Yep. Took these over to my cousin's house on Thanksgiving so I could knit on them, and they have a very large yellow lab who sheds everywhere. So a little bit of dog hair. So it's a very basic pattern. If you'd like, you can, if you go over to the project page, or the pattern page, excuse me, on Ravelry, you can see either what episode they give it away for you for free, or if you don't want to write it down, you can pay $1 for the pattern. I shelled out $1. Why not? So first sock has been done for quite a while. It's a very basic sock. Second sock, and I'm sorry if this looks the same as last time. I can't remember how far along I was the last time we talked, and I talked about this. So I did write down in the show notes, I am 5 stripes into the second one, working on the 6th stripe. So the yarn is wonderful. It is Lollipop Yarns, my first Lollipop yarn. Got it at my sister knits since I can't seem to get the thing. It's her Gripe base, which I believe, yeah, an 80/20 superwash merino nylon blend, and the colorway is Some Like It Hot. So it's coming along, 5 stripes in. And I decided for the second sock, I kind of wanted to keep them about equal so they're done at the same time, because I've learned as a mama of twins, if you give one something, you darn sure better have something for the second child at the same time, and it better be something of equal or better value. You can't tell them, no, mommy still has to knit the second one, and make them wait, or you will have complete and utter meltdown. So knowing where I was with Tara's socks, and they were sitting out in my purse in the dining room, and my other project bag with Gabe's socks were closer, I cast his second sock on the other day. So this is another Stitch by Jessalou bag in her Jane hat base. Love it. So this, again, is the Genevieve's. Oh my goodness. These bags are such a disaster. I cram entirely too much stuff into these, so it's amazing everything they hold. Gabe's yarn is from Friday Studios. It is her Monday base in the science fiction colorway. I believe it's a, yes, 75/25 superwash wool and nylon blend. First sock has been done, and Gabe calls this my green sock, even though it's not completely green, but he wanted green socks, so this is what baby boy picked. Gray, black, aquamarine, and lime green. First sock is done. Second sock has been cast on correctly, unlike Tara's second one. I cast on the correct number. And I am 3 stripes. Well, I'm working on the 3rd stripe of Gabe's sock. So I want to get it up to match Tara's, and then I can go back to working on Tara's. I thought I was closer, but this is like days knitting, like a couple hours. I did that while the kids were watching Pokemon. And yeah, those are both knit up on a US 1, a 2.25 millimeter needle. I think next time I'll either size up to a larger needle and slightly thicker yarn, and keep the stitch count the same, do all that the same. Or I'll just, since they have two different sizes, a 48 stitch and a 56 stitch, since it's going up in 8 stitch increments, I might just go up to a 64 and see how it works. We'll see if the kids like these and wear them. So it all depends. They wanted socks, so I'm making them socks. They'll have warm wool socks for this winter. And I think that's going to go in either in their Christmas stockings or under the tree for them. So yeah, that's everything that I have on my needles. I did get some stitching done, and I am terribly sorry. I have been woefully behind on updating my Instagram with the hashtag naptime needleworker. It seems like every time I finish working on it, someone's getting up from naps and I have to put it away. So I have not updated where I'm at on this for a couple weeks. I have had some time to work on it though. This is the Once Upon a Time sampler from Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery, and I am on December. We are almost done. So obviously I got a bit done since the last time. I don't even remember where I was, but I have managed to finish the gingerbread cottage, except there are a few little exceptions. Let me get in here, going the other way, and down and over. The doorknob I have not done. And there are a few little sprinkles up here on the roof that are different colors that I just didn't feel like pulling out the other day to do like 2 stitches with. But I think the last time I had the brown done down about to the top of where the valances over the windows were. So, you know, it's a lot of little itty bitty fiddly stuff, and I'm working on it. It's coming along. It's coming along. I can't believe I'm that close to being done. So I have to finish that square, and then I have to come over here under November and put in, I'm going to put in the end rather than the year to match the Once Upon a Time up at the top. So there you have it. That's everything I've been working on. So gonna move on. Various and sundry. I do have one question. Oops. Out of the Any Questions thread, which if you have anything to ask me, please head over to the Any Questions thread. I think after today's question, we have 3 questions left, and I'll have to drop this segment because no one's asking anything. You actually have to go into the group because it's not showing up because no one's contributed for over a month, and I can't keep going just asking myself questions. So please feel free, ask me stuff. Today's question is from Knittalicious 3KD. She says, "Hi Karen, I'm a longtime knitter, but I've only ever knitted 2 pairs of socks. One of which was actually a pair of cabled Christmas stockings for which I created the pattern. Don't even get me started. One of the reasons I haven't done much sock knitting is yarn selection, and the other is heels. How do you know a yarn will work for socks? Does it have to be sock weight? And with so many different heel options, how do you decide which one to add to your sock? Thanks for your insight." So this is, let's see if I can, Dallas is her name. So, Dallas, good questions. How do you know a yarn will work for socks? Any yarn can work for socks. It just depends on what qualities you want in your sock and what kind of sock you want to have. I like socks that I can wear on an everyday basis. So me personally, I go for fingering weight yarn. I like it to have a tight twist. So like singles are not going to be good. You're walking on these things and you're knitting tens of thousands of stitches into them. So you want something hard wearing that's going to last. I like superwash wool. I like it to have a little bit of nylon content for strength, although it's not necessary if the twist is tight enough, as evidenced by my collection of Blue Moon fiber arts that I have back there. That is nothing but 100% superwash merino. And I haven't had a problem. I know some people have had issues that their Blue Moon socks wear out quickly. I knit my socks so they're practically bulletproof. So for me, if you knit a pair of socks and they're wearing out in one or two wearings, that tells me you need to have a tighter gauge. You need to downsize your needle size, maybe up how many stitches if you need that circumference. So go for maybe 72 stitches on a US 1 instead of 64 stitches on a US 2. The thinner your yarn, the smaller your needle. So a heavier fingering weight versus a lighter fingering weight. The main thing is gauge. Gauge is huge. That's how you know. And if you want to knit like house socks or bed socks, you want something thicker, heavier, you can knit bulky weight socks if you want, if that's what you desire. Be my guest. Personally, I don't, because I like my socks to fit inside shoes. But I do know, I think it was Yarn Harlot probably like a decade ago now, knit a pair of bulky weight 2-ply alpaca socks for a friend of hers who requested them. Obviously, they live in Canada, and this person likes to go snowmobiling and wanted their feet to be really, really warm. So you can find, if you look on Ravelry, you can find patterns for everything. Go to the advanced pattern search. Actually, I was helping someone at work the other day, a patient who was a knitter, and she had said she was looking for men's socks, a pattern for men's socks in worsted weight yarn. So she and I searched, and we put in worsted weight yarn, accessories, feet, socks, whatever, went down the line, and I found her 623 patterns that were options that she could peruse and go through. She had never heard of Ravelry. Obviously, you're on Ravelry, so you know where the pattern search is. So head over to the pattern search if you're looking for that. What yarn will work with socks? Pretty much anything, but honestly, look at your pattern. If the pattern calls for fingering weight, use fingering weight. Don't make the mistake I did with the Playful Stripes cardigan, unless you want to be doing a lot of math. Math, not meth. Oh my gosh. I need to enunciate. I need to drink more coffee so I can enunciate better. So does yarn have to be sock weight for socks? No, not necessarily. Would I say knit socks in lace weight? No. I mean, you can. I'm sure you can. I'm sure there are patterns for that. But personally, I would not. And with so many different heel options, how do you decide which one to add to your sock? Most sock patterns that I've used have a heel as part of the pattern. So it's like you get done with the cuff, if you're doing a top down, and it will say heel flap or short row heel instructions, and it will move you on to the next section of the pattern. Majority of the socks that I've done that. If I want to substitute something in, like after I did the Breaking Hearts socks, for a while I had a big love for Turtle Girl 76's heel out of that, where the gusset wasn't on the side of the sock, but underneath, so it really cupped your heel. And so as long as the number of stitches were the same, I would just yank that heel out of the Breaking Hearts sock pattern and put it into another sock pattern. As long as numbers are the same, you can do that, or if you know how to do the math and can fudge it over. And like Afterthought heel socks, there's so many. There's the Fish Lips Kiss heel, which I know is an afterthought. Susan B. Anderson came out with the SOS heel pattern recently. The Crystal Afterthought heel that I like to use. I just happened to take a class on it. It's a matter of playing around and finding what you like. I think last count I went through my Ravelry page, and the last count I had done 80 plus pairs of socks. So it's just trial and error basically, and being able to put stuff in, seeing what you like, knowing what you don't like. That's all that I've done over the years. Hopefully, Dallas, that helps some. And yeah, we are into Christmas knitting. For those of you that Christmas knit, I think this year nobody is getting anything knitted. Well, I take that back. My friend Sarah will get socks, as she always does. I'm also sending her a really, really awful movie. Oh, it's terrible. So while Sarah was here visiting, since she lives in Minnesota and I'm in Colorado now, I had her go through the yarn cabinets and pick out more yarn for me to make socks for her. And she knows she won't get them by Christmas. This is like a thing. She's like, it's handmade. I'll take them whenever you finish them. That's awesome. But she found my one other skein that I knew I had somewhere of the Cyborg's Craft Room. So that's going to be a pair of socks for Sarah. I don't have it out here. I should have grabbed it, but it's in there, back there in the craft room, right through that door. But while she was here, we went through Target and got some cheap movies, one of which was Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. So, I mean, I like some zombie movies. I enjoy The Walking Dead to a degree. Hubby plays zombie games, obviously, and I love Pride and Prejudice. So I was like, well, hey, I've read the book. I liked how they inserted the zombies into the storyline, but basically remained true to the Pride and Prejudice story. The movie, not even close. Not even close. Oh God, it was awful. And hubby sat down with me and watched it because I told him it has zombies. You might like it. And the further in we were, I was just like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It's like a few years ago when he drugged me to whatever the Resident Evil movie was that had just come out. And we sat through it. Thank God we were the only people in the theater. We might as well have been doing MST3K with it. We were doing everything but throwing popcorn at the screen. It was terrible. Oh, this was a terrible one that I had him watch rather than him having me watch. So yeah, it's bad. So in all of its $7 glory, I'm sending it off to Sarah for Christmas. So she can know how terrible it is. Oh God, it was awful, awful. But anyway, I think I've got all the snafus figured out with the camera. Fingers crossed. I think I've got everything figured out with the computer. Again, fingers crossed. I really can't take any more technological breakdowns. So hopefully everything works. Thank you everyone for the good feedback about liking the new camera, liking the picture. I agree, the picture is so much sharper. So here's the thing. If you're watching on iTunes and you're going, it doesn't seem that sharp to me, I have to compress this thing down so far. Even the one of the last 2 episodes that was 18 minutes, I had to compress it twice. Like, compress it once, compress it again to get it down below the 1 gig that I needed to get it to go onto iTunes. So if you want to see a better picture quality, head over to YouTube. Head over to the blog where I post it from YouTube. And hopefully that will help. This one, I don't know how many times I'll have to run the compression software because we're at 28 minutes. So I'm going to shut up. I will see you all next week. And until then, happy knitting.